There we go. I believe we're live. So, hey
Okay.
guys, Charles Sparks here, Berkshire Hathaway in the Northern Colorado area. And I've got Tracey on the Zoom call here with IPX 1031. And today just wanted to talk about a few different topics on 1031 exchanges when buying and selling properties. And of course, Tracey here is the expert in that field. So,
Thank
Tracey,
you.
do you want to give us a quick, just 30-second to a minute overview of your company and what you do?
Sure. So when people buy or sell investment real estate, and they do not do a 1031 exchange, they're going to have taxes on their profits, the capital gains, and they're about 30 some percent. To avoid that, to defer the gains, there's a part of the tax code, section 1031, that allows them to defer, to roll over those gains into the next piece of property that they buy. So IPX is actually the largest qualified intermediary in the country. There are 30 plus of us attorneys and CPAs, including the banking staff and the exchange coordinators and all the others. We're about 250 some employees. We're wholly owned by Fidelity, so we have some pretty deep financial pockets. My background, I've been doing 1031s for more than 15 years. In a previous life, I was an investment banker with Merrill Lynch, and before that with Credit Suisse out of Zurich and London and New York.
Awesome. Very good. And Tracey, most of my business, I deal with, you know, out of town owners who own property in the Fort Collins, Loveland, Greeley, Northern Colorado area. So I do a lot of, the condos and the single family detached properties, but 1031s, you can do that for pretty much any property.
Yes, you can do it on any type of real property, i.e. real estate. So you can sell a rental condo, you can sell a single family rental home, you can sell a strip shopping mall, a commercial office building. You can even sell raw land, even things that are more esoteric, oil and gas, water rights, air rights, minerals, leases, all of that is real property and can be sold, and you don't have to pay the capital gains and go buy something else.
Okay.
The one thing that you don't do a 1031 on is your personal primary residence. There's already another part of the tax code that says, hey, when you sell your home, you get your money tax free. And tax free is a lot better than tax deferred dollars. So you cannot do a 1031 on your personal primary residence. But for everything else, yes, you certainly can. Oh, one
Perfect.
last point. When you do that, when you sell, everybody always thinks like kind. If I'm selling a condo, I got to go buy another rental condo. If I'm selling land, I got to go buy more land. That's not true. It's a little bit of a misnomer. Like kind simply means what you're selling is real property and what you're buying is real property anywhere in the US. It can be anything. You can sell the rental condo and go buy raw land. You can sell the strip shopping mall and go buy oil and gas. It's very wide. Any real
Tracy,
property is like kind to other real property.
Tracy, can you sell let's say you got a commercial piece of property that's worth 5 million and you want to take that and you want to put that into condos or detached single family. Can you do that over multiple units?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. You can sell one thing and do an exchange and buy multiple replacement properties.
Okay.
You can even do the opposite. Let's say you have one or two or maybe three properties you want to sell. You want to combine all of them, mush them all together, and go buy one bigger, larger property. You can do that as well. Almost any combination is going to work.
Okay. And let's say someone wants to sell their investment by 1031, or buy a property with a 1031. How many days after we close on their residential property here do they have to pick out and close on their new property?
Okay, so there's actually two timelines that you have to be aware of. So the 1031 exchange does not start when you go under contract to sell. It does not start when you get an earnest money check from an interested buyer. It starts at the closing of the sale. So we've got to be involved before then.
Okay.
So at that closing of the sale, the first timeline is they get 45 days to identify what it is they maybe want to buy, exchange into. And the other timeline, starting on the same day, the day they close on the sale, they get 180 days to close on the purchase of one or more of those properties that they identified in the first 45 days.
Okay. Very, Very good. So it's good to get you involved early on in the process.
Oh, yeah. Not only does it give us enough time before the closing of the sale happens, but what if the thing is owned in an LLC or a partnership or a trust or some entity? You know, there are different rules and different ways of structuring the exchange to make sure that the IRS does not audit it and fail the exchange.
Okay. Now let's say a beginner. I have a rental property, but it is not in any type of 1031. But let's say if I want to buy a property and I know that's going to be a rental house from day one, do I need to do any work when I'm buying it to put it in any 1031, or is that just when I'm selling it?
Just when you're selling.
Okay. Perfect. So anyone who's bought a property, turned it into an investment, they're thinking of selling it, no matter what they did in the past, now they can contact you and facilitate the 1031 on that when they're.
Absolutely. Yes.
Perfect. One more question. Well, I may have more, but one more I'm thinking about right now. I mean, I had this conversation recently from one of my investors, but they have a property they are looking to sell here in the northern Colorado area. They want to 1031 that into a different property. I believe it was Arizona, and have that be a rental.
You can go anywhere in the country.
Their future plans is to retire in Arizona. And if they own that property, can they move in, let's say it's 5 years or 10 years down the road, can they move into that property they purchased as a 1031 and convert that over to their primary residence? And what happens if they sell that 10, 12, 13 years later?
Sure, absolutely. That's a great question. That's what I call a tax-free exit strategy to get out of 1031 exchanges. So you do an exchange, whether you've done one of them or 2 exchanges or 20 exchanges, what's happening to your gain all along the way? It just keeps getting bigger and bigger because it's cumulative. So here you are doing your last exchange, buying this property down in Arizona was your example. And so they buy it, and to do this trick, this magic trick is what I call it, of being able to move into the property, they have to own it for 5 years. And the first year of owning it, the new replacement property, so exchanged into it, they have to rent it out. There is a safe harbor that if they rent it out for 2 years, the first 2 years, then they're sort of bulletproof for the IRS. Whether it's after the first year or 2, then they move into the property and live there years 3, 4, 5, and then they decide to sell. Now, they don't have to sell, but if they do, guess what happens? They've turned the property from being an investment. They bought it under 1031. They've turned it now into their home, and they get to use their personal home exclusion. Now, they don't get to use all of their exclusion, but they get to use a fraction of it. And I can work with clients and help educate them to it. And there's one other thing. When you do an exchange, some of your gain is the recapture depreciation, and that does not come out tax-free. But is that short enough answer? That's a wonderful trick to get out tax-free.
Super helpful. So, well, very, very good. And, I know your website has endless amounts of information on it, videos, brochures, pitfalls of anything to do with 1031s or how to avoid that. So I'm going to link that below this video. So if someone wants to get some more information, and of course, your information is right here on your screen. So if people need to know how to get a hold of you, I assume they can call that number. And
call me anytime, email me, not a problem.
Okay. And one last question. If, let's say, someone in Florida is wanting to do this and they're looking to, you work all over the United States, right?
Correct. Yes.
All right. So you can be that contact for any of their needs anywhere in the United States.
Yes, that's right.
Perfect.
Largest nationwide firm doing 1031 exchanges by far and away. We did almost $20 billion worth of 1031s last year. Here in Colorado, we did about 500 million. That's
incredible. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, very good. Well, hey, Tracey, thank you so much for your time. Do you have anything to add, or do you think we covered kind of the basics?
I think you've covered a lot of ground in a very short amount of time. I just look forward to helping people. That's one of my things. I like helping people, especially the folks up in northern Colorado. That's where I did some of my undergraduate work. So I like the Fort Collins area. I like them all. So
Yeah, it's great. It's a great area. All of Colorado is good.
yeah, you cannot beat Colorado.
Exactly. Well, hey, thank you so much for doing this little brief video with us, and we will plan on being in touch soon. And if anyone wants to get a hold of Tracey, you got his contact information there on the screen, and I will post it below.
Thank you very much, Charles. I appreciate the invitation.
All right, sounds good. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.